So all that noise is from the rehearsal of Made in Dagenham. We are a week away from the show, and they are practicing really, really hard to nail all the amazing songs that are in this musical. And we, as part of the production, wanted to do something good. We wanted to spread the word a bit about equal pay and why it's still a problem, and why this production and this story of the Dagenham workers is still relevant. I'm Olivia, I'm a marketing assistant, but specifically I'm doing the outreach and access for the show.
And I'm Miranda, and I'm the director. So Made in Dagenham is about the Ford factory workers' strike of 1968, when they refused to be downgraded to a lower pay grade, and the fight against that piece of downgrading spiralled into a fight for equal pay, which resulted in the Equal Pay Amendment being passed at the TUC conference. The main character is really Rita O'Grady. So she's this housewife and working mother who becomes kind of unintentionally involved in the fight for equal pay. She's encouraged to do it by all her friends, and particularly by this older woman called Connie, who's been fighting this fight for kind of 30 years, and sees something in Rita and encourages her to go for the fight and take it on. And over the course of the musical, she kind of becomes this political activist and finds her voice, and ultimately succeeds in getting the Equal Pay Amendment passed in the final number.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm playing Rita O'Grady in Made in Dagenham. She is one of the women that work in the Ford factory in Dagenham who go on strike in search of equal pay. It's based on the real-life strikes of 1968, and her story basically tells of her personal troubles with her husband, and also her struggle to kind of go to Parliament and the TUC in search of this policy.
My name is Isabella, and I play Connie Riley in the show. She's a woman in her late 50s who is a shop steward in the Ford Dagenham operation. She's essentially the woman who spurs Rita to become the ringleader for the equal pay movement, and gives this message that everyone should fight for what they think is right.
I'm Emilio Camper. I'm at Wadham College, and I'm studying PPE, which is politics, philosophy and economics. I play Barry, and there are a couple of other minor parts, but Barry is one of the workers in the factory who is on the male side of it all.
So the women on the floor who are working, with Rita are machinists. So they operate the sewing machines and make the seats for the cars for Ford. And they're paid, at the beginning of the show, they are downgraded in terms of how much pay they're given. So they're given an unskilled wage, which is the same amount as a lot of the unskilled men on the factory line. But they kind of first go in search of kind of being re-upgraded back to this skilled grade, because they kind of explain to everyone that they're put through lots of vigorous testing to kind of get onto this position and into this job, so they deserve more money for it. But then, as I was saying, Rita's kind of inspired by a lot of the women that she comes across in the show to ask for more than just a little bit extra. I think women start off being paid something like 87% of the male rate, no matter what kind of grading they are. But at the end, that's what they're asking for, 100%.
I think equal pay is something that's incredibly important to talk about, because equal pay still isn't a massive, widespread thing. There are still many countries that do not have equal pay and do not see women as equal citizens as their men. And that's why I think it's important for this play to still be running in 2019.
Ladies, I've spoken to the management.
Rita doesn't think that she's a political person, yet she still sort of spearheads this whole campaign in terms of the factories. And so I want young people to come away from this knowing that they can also make change, whether they think that it's a big one or not.
We go to head office tomorrow, me, Connie and Sid.
I don't want Sid, I want one of the girls.
It's kind of really opened my eyes to kind of just what sort of personal sacrifice is required for anybody that's looking to make kind of significant political change. I think quite often you see sort of campaigners and activists, and kind of people are quick to criticise, and say that nobody's doing enough kind of thing. But I think when you kind of look at the actual personal struggles that go behind those stories, it's just even more inspiring to see that people can give up so much and sacrifice so much of their kind of personal lives in order to pursue something that they think is sort of bigger and more important.
Oxford is definitely not just about studying. If it was just about studying, we'd all go absolutely bonkers because we'd have nothing else to focus on. One of my favourite things about Oxford is how creative everybody is, and everyone's come from different areas of being creative. Some schools had loads of drama and some had none, but all these people come together with ideas and visions, and some like dance and some like writing and some like to act, and then people just put it together, and it means that we can put on some incredible productions or music shows and all sorts of other things that people do.
It's all student run, all student led. There's a lot of organisation involved, a lot of organisation, working around workloads, other commitments you might have, but our university has a lot more freedom with plays to do what you want to do, because at school it's the drama teacher decides. If you're like an amateur production, it's like the director that decides. Here you can do your own, you can make your own plays, you can start your own company, you can do whatever you want really.
I think for a lot of people of our age and of sixth form age, equal pay is a really academic issue. That's something you kind of read about in the papers, that's affecting, you know, women in a different walk of life. It's not really anything to do with you. And I think coming to see a show like this is really important because it puts it into that personal perspective and will help people understand that this isn't an issue that's gone away, nor is it an issue that kind of is only a problem on paper. It's a huge problem in people's lives in the past, and it continues to be in the present. So it's a very important part of that kind of process of understanding.
You should definitely go and look at some articles online that are actually written by the real women, because the characters we have in the musical are amazing and they encompass the experiences of all these women, but they aren't the real women, and hearing the words of the real women is so inspiring because they just went down to London as a collective of women together, having fun, but also doing something amazing. And if you look at the links down below, there should be one to the article that I'm on about, so give it a read.